and make a living out of playing fool.
10 moments, one band, and a singer who walked out the door and never looked back. You know the voice. You know Maggie May. What you probably don't know is that there were 4 other men standing in the room the night that voice became famous, and what it ended up costing every single one of them. This is the story of the Faces, the band Rod Stewart left for dead. 10. The B-side that broke the band. 9. The 4 words that ended them. The Faces didn't die from a fight. They died from a change to the concert poster. After Maggie May, promoters started doing something small and completely reasonable from a business standpoint. They stopped billing the shows as Faces. They started billing them as Rod Stewart and the Faces. Ian McLagan said it plainly years later. Once that billing showed up, it was all over bar the shouting. Think about what that does to 4 men in a van. You're still playing the same set, same songs, same sweat, same bar tab. But the sign outside now says your staff. And here's the sick joke of the whole thing. That exact stretch was their commercial peak. November 1971. A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. Number 2 in Britain, number 6 in America, their best-selling record by a mile.
His lips are dry, our hearts gently pounding.
Off It Comes, Stay With Me, written by Rod and Woody. Number 6 in the UK, number 17 in the States. It's a monster. It still sounds like a bar fight breaking out in slow motion. Now here's the reveal that gets me every time. Stay With Me was their only major American hit. Ever. In 6 years. 1. And I'd bet real money that a lot of you spent decades thinking that song was a Rod Stewart solo record. Because that's how it gets played, that's how it gets filed, that's how it lives on classic rock radio to this day. If you just sat up a little, you're not alone. Say so below. So the band got its biggest success and its erasure in exactly the same year. Same album, same song. You can be at the top of your game and disappearing at the same time. Most people never have to learn that. These 4 did.
Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of 1 coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story.
8. Ronnie's album.
But if you want out, try to love again.
In September 1972, the Faces went into Olympic Studios in London to make their 4th album.
I still want you by my...
Their lead singer didn't come, not showed up late, didn't come, for weeks. He was the biggest solo star in Britain by then, with Somewhere Else to Be and a separate label bankrolling it. So the other 4 sat in a very expensive room in London with the clock running and made a decision that changed everything. They started without him. Ronnie Lane had songs ready. He always had songs ready. And with the space suddenly wide open, he took the whole thing over.
I'm sure
McLagan later called it, flatly, Ronnie's album.
when it comes to loving me, she's worth.
Lane wrote or co-wrote more than half of it. It came out quieter than anything they'd done. More folk than boogie, more porch than pub.
Baby, I've tried to love her.
And when the final tally came in, Rod Stewart didn't appear on 3 of the 10 songs on his own band's record. Then came the title track.
When it comes to being lucky, she's good.
They cut a song Lane and Wood had written called Ooh La La, a grandfather talking to a grandson about everything he learned too late.
Woo!
Lane tried the vocal. Rod tried the vocal. Neither one landed. Rod said the key was wrong for him, pointed across the room at Woody, and told him to sing it.
Just to help me dry the tears.
Glenn Johns, the producer, backed the idea. Wood sang it. It's the only solo lead vocal Ronnie Wood ever recorded with the Faces in a studio, ever. And it happened because the singer couldn't be bothered.
Give you a try. 'Cause if you want, I'll try.
And if you've ever carried something across the finish line because the person who was supposed to lead it kept not showing up, you know that specific feeling. It isn't anger.
Baby, I know.
It's colder than anger. It's the moment you realize you're on your own and you decide to do it well anyway.
These words.
Here's the payoff. Ooh La La went to #1 in Britain, their first, their only.
Just to help me dry the tears that I
Number 21 in America. The album he skipped was the best-selling album they ever made. He was about to have some thoughts about that.
try to love again, but I know.
7. A Bloody Mess. This is the moment. Not the Rolling Stones, not the breakup. This one.
Well rehearsed, but my heart cried out for
Ooh La La comes out in the spring of 1973, and it's climbing. Reviews are mixed, but the public is buying it.
fineness, your beauty and elegance.
Cindy, incidentally, had already gone to #2 in Britain that February. The band's been carried by a bassist who put his whole chest into it while the frontman was elsewhere.
Ever seen. And there have been
And then Rod Stewart starts giving interviews. He tells the NME the album is rotten. Then he sits down with Melody Maker and calls it, and this is the quote that followed him for 50 years, a bloody mess.
I really must confess right here.
He didn't say it in a room. He said it in print, in the biggest music papers in the country, about a record his own band had just made without him.
Soul, you be my breath, should I grow?
Now, to be fair, and I want to be fair here, he tried to walk it back almost immediately. Told Rolling Stone he'd been taken out of context, that what he meant was the band was capable of better.
Should I grow? You're on my love.
That they hadn't found the right studio or the right formula. He's admitted in his own autobiography that he didn't exactly help the atmosphere.
To leave, but I bite my lip and
But you can't unprint a thing like that. And Ronnie Lane read it.
spinning yarns that were so lyrical.
Lane left the Faces in June 1973. Sit with what that actually meant. Lane and Kenney Jones had been playing together since they were teenagers.
You're in my heart, you're in my
The Outcasts, then the Small Faces from 1965, then this.
You're a rhapsody, a comedy.
8 years, 2 bands, 1 continuous friendship built on a bandstand. It ended over a sentence in a newspaper.
Many affairs, and many times I thought.
And if you've ever had somebody you built something with say the one thing you can't unhear, not a betrayal, just words, just carelessness, at exactly the wrong volume, you know it doesn't get repaired. It gets survived.
You're ageless, timeless, lacing.
The soul of the band walked out the door that summer. Even Rod eventually admitted that's what happened. Everything after this is a body still moving.
Hard to accept.
6. The bassist they'd never met. Ronnie Lane was irreplaceable, so they replaced him in about a week, sight unseen. August 1973. Tour dates are already booked, money is already spent, and the Faces need a bass player yesterday. The name they actually wanted was Andy Fraser, out of Free. Huge player, huge songwriter. Didn't happen. So Free's drummer Simon Kirk suggested his other bassist instead, a man named Tetsu Yamauchi. The Faces hired him, without meeting him, without an audition, off a recommendation and a deadline. Then he arrived, and they found out he didn't speak much English. I want to be careful here, because this gets told as a punchline and it shouldn't be. Tetsu was a serious musician who'd already replaced Andy Fraser in Free and played on Heartbreaker. He wasn't a joke, but McLagan admitted later that the hire was a mistake, not because of the man, because of the fit. He was the wrong type of bassist for what that band did, and they'd rushed the single most important decision they had left. So picture it, you've just lost the songwriter, the co-founder, the emotional center, and the man you bring in to stand in his spot can't fully talk to you. Now here's the part that stays with me. Tetsu Yamauchi stayed in the Faces for over 2 years. Global stadium tours, sold-out halls on 3 continents, and in that entire time, the recorded output he appears on amounts to 2 singles and 1 live album. That's it. Two years of a man's life inside one of the biggest live acts in the world, and history barely has a photograph of the work. He went back to Japan, kept doing session work, and retired from the music business in the late 90s. He's the forgotten man inside the forgotten band, and by then, the forgetting was well underway. Five, the records that admitted it. If you want to know exactly when a band has stopped believing in itself, don't read the interviews, look at what they release. October 17, 1973, the Faces play Anaheim, California, and the tape rolls. Three months later, in January 1974, out comes their live album, Coast to Coast, Overture and Beginners. This should have been the crown jewel. This is the greatest live band of their generation, finally documented, everything the studio albums couldn't catch. It got savaged, poorly recorded, badly thought out, thin where it should have roared. Critics tore it apart. McLagan himself later said there were better bootlegs, but that's not the reveal. Look at the credit on the sleeve. It doesn't say Faces, it says Rod Stewart /Faces. His name first, the band second, with a slash between them like a divorce filing. And in America, the LP came out on Mercury, Rod's solo label. Not Warner Brothers. The band's only live document came out on the singer's label, under the singer's name. Whether that was Rod's call or the suits at the label doing what suits do, honestly, I'll let you decide that one. I've got an opinion. I'm not sure it's the right one. Then, later in 1974, they put out one more single, You Can Make Me Dance, Sing, or Anything, number 12 in Britain. Didn't chart at all in America. That was the only studio recording that lineup ever completed, one single, and it was the last thing the Faces ever released as a group. They tried to start another album in early 1975. It went nowhere. Everyone in that room could feel it. You know that feeling when a thing is technically still alive and everybody involved has quietly stopped pretending? That was 1975 in the Faces. And then the phone rang from London. For Minneapolis.
Knowing that you've seen the worst, and I know
There's a room in Minneapolis where the Faces played their last note, and almost nobody knows the address.
don't have much, but what I've got is yours.
1975. Mick Taylor has left the Rolling Stones, and the Stones want Ronnie Wood. They'd wanted him for years. It was never a secret. Woody goes out on tour with them in the summer, and by his own account genuinely thinks he can hold both jobs. Play with the Stones, come back, keep everybody happy. That September, Wood told the press what was really eating him, that the labels only ever cared about Rod. Mercury had done it, Warner was doing the same thing.
'Cause I know you don't play.
The band was scenery, then he came back anyway, rejoined the Faces, for their final American run that fall. They needed another guitarist to cover for him, and they brought in Jesse Ed Davis, Oklahoma-born, one of the finest session players alive, a man who'd played with just about everybody.
Oh yeah.
Here's the detail that tells you the whole story. Jesse Ed Davis had already played on Atlantic Crossing, Rod Stewart's next solo album, the one that would move him to Warner Brothers, move him to America, and end the Mercury era for good. So the man hired to hold the Faces together on their last tour was already on the record that made the Faces unnecessary.
But I'll treat you one day because I love.
The tour was rough, everyone knew. And on November 1st, 1975, the Faces played the Labor Temple in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and walked off stage for the last time.
Coldest winter.
No farewell announcement, no final bow. No, thank you and good night, this is it. Just another gig in another town on another Saturday, and then it was over, and nobody in the building knew. That's how most things actually end, isn't it? Not with a ceremony. With an ordinary night you don't realize you should have paid attention to. They still had 6 weeks left as a band on paper. December 18th, 1975.
And sit right down. Loosen up.
6 weeks after the last show, Rod Stewart called a press conference in London. December 18th, 1975.
Come on, angel. My heart.
He announces he's leaving the Faces after 6 years. And in the same breath, the same press conference, he announces he's forming a new band and that they'll be playing Wembley Stadium the following June. Read that again slowly. The funeral and the new wedding invitation, delivered in one sitting to the same room of journalists.
Dieu, qu'est-ce qu'il va dire, maman?
There was no gap, no pause, no moment where the thing that had just died got to be dead for a minute before the next thing was announced.
I love you, girl. Ain't nobody gonna.
McLagan's version is blunt. Rod ended the band by telling the press the Faces were over. That's how the other men found out where they stood, and the aftermath was ugly. In interviews the following year, Stewart was openly sour about the whole thing, taking shots at Woody going to the Stones.
Tonight's the night.
Needling about whether it would do him any more good than it had done Mick Taylor, which is a strange way to talk about a decision you just made yourself for yourself.
To stop this tide, spread your wings.
Now, in his defense, and there is one, he said many times since that losing Ronnie Lane took the soul out of the band.
Inhibitions run wild. The secret is
And that once Lane was gone, Woody joining the Stones was always coming. He's called them 5 hilarious years. He said no other band sounds like them. I believe he means it. Some of you are going to tell me he had no choice, that the math was already done in 1971 and everything after was just paperwork. And you might be right.
it's gonna be alright.
To what it cost.
Can't you hear me now? Can't you hear me now? Will I see
This is the part of the story that doesn't get told because it isn't fun. Start with Ronnie Lane.
on your street and past your gate? I stand by the light.
After he left, he formed Slim Chance and scored a UK hit almost immediately with How Come.
On a downtown train.
Then he organized his own touring circus around Britain, and it was a financial disaster. In 1977, he made Rough Mix with Pete Townsend, a beautiful record, one of the best either man made. He was already losing control of his hands while making it. The diagnosis came in 1977, multiple sclerosis. His own mother had it. He and Kenney Jones used to carry her up and down the stairs of her block of flats in the East End when they were kids, so he'd known what it looked like his whole life. He fought it for 21 years.
Without the rose, be careful out there in the dark.
Snake venom, hyperbaric oxygen chambers, anything. In September 1983, the rock aristocracy of Britain came out for him at the Royal Albert Hall.
Up the four-way. You watch them as they fall.
Clapton, Beck, Jimmy Page, Steve Winwood, Bill Wyman, Charlie Watts, and Kenney Jones. The Arms concerts raised something like $1 million for MS research. Ronnie Lane still ended up broke.
Will I see you tonight?
Bad deals, years of neglect, nothing left. He moved to Trinidad, Colorado in 1994 for the dry air. He died there on June 4, 1997. He was 51. Buried the next day. Small private service. No fuss.
See you tonight. On a down-
In his black cowboy jacket and his boots. Kenney Jones spent those years in The Who, replacing Keith Moon. And he'd been at the same party as Moon the night before Moon died.
on a downtown train.
He carried that gig, and years of people telling him he wasn't Keith. McLagan became one of the great session men. That's his organ on Miss You.
Thing that'll ever capture your heart. They're just stones.
He married Keith Moon's ex-wife a month after Moon died. He died in Austin, Texas in December 2014 after a stroke.
On your street and past your gate. I stand by the light.
69 years old, and Ronnie Wood got the Rolling Stones, but he was an employee on a salary, not a partner in the business, until around 1990. Every one of them kept working. None of them got the band back. If
Oh, if I was the one.
you've ever watched somebody you loved lose ground slowly, over years, while the world moved on without noticing, you already know what those 2 decades felt like from the inside.
You leave me lonely. Will I see you tonight?
1. The empty microphone.
You grow to be proud, dignified, and
April 14th, 2012. Cleveland, Ohio. Public Hall. After 37 years, the
soon be with you. May your guiding light be strong.
Small Faces and the Faces are finally being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, together, as one entry, which McLagan had mixed feelings about but said he'd take. Stephen Van Zandt gives the induction speech. Ronnie Wood is there. Ian McLagan is there. Kenney Jones is there. Rod Stewart is scheduled to sing.
Forever young, forever young.
The night before, they find out he isn't coming. Illness, a throat, a flu, take your pick. and by all accounts, it was real. Woody said it plainly. Strep throat is a curse for a singer. But look at what that means in practice. Steve Marriott had been dead since 1991. Ronnie Lane had been dead since 1997. This was the last night the surviving faces were ever going to stand on a stage together and be honored for it. And the man out front wasn't there.
I'm right behind you, win or lose.
At 7:30 that Friday morning, Mick Hucknall of Simply Red gets a phone call. He drops everything, gets on a plane, rehearses that evening, and sings for them. And what did they play? All or Nothing, Stay With Me. And Ooh La La, the song Rod said was in the wrong key. On the album he called a bloody mess. From the sessions he didn't show up for. Sung in Cleveland, at their induction, by a man from Manchester who'd learned it on a plane. 2 years later, Ian McLagan was dead. That was the last chance, and it went by. Here's the ending nobody would have written. That song Rod wouldn't sing became the most beloved thing the Faces ever recorded. Wes Anderson put it over the closing credits of Rushmore in 1998. And a whole generation who'd never heard of the band fell in love with it in a dark room. And in that very same year, Rod Stewart finally recorded his own version of it, as a tribute to Ronnie Lane, who had died the year before. 25 years to sing it, and he only did it once Lane couldn't hear it. Rolling Stone eventually put it at number 246 on the greatest songs ever made. And if you're sitting there realizing you've loved that song for years without knowing a single thing about the man who wrote it, you're in enormous company. Say his name in the comments, Ronnie Lane. He'd have liked that.